Hi, this is Mia. I'm doing a quick update picture. I don't like the key in the background, but I'm gonna keep it. What is this? A phone. This kind of looks like a walking stick figure. Had some good pictures when the sun was out, so I had some homework assignments to do, and you can see the two different lights. Kind of see a little bit of the blue. It's not really that blue outside. It's pretty gray, but it's summer and the days are getting shorter, and I'm so like sad because I feel like I don't know. It's so hard to hear the kids play outside. Everyone loves kids playing outside, but I'm going to be out there with them. That's the thing. And people that work, they still often take summer vacation with their family, go to the beach, do this, do that, visit their brother. And then retired people, oh, it's like they got it made. And I don't even know if people like can retire like the people that I know now that are retired. I don't know if that's going to be there for me. I hope so. I hope I can learn from these people how they're able to afford travel. You know, a lot of the people I know out here are getting, how did I even have this up here? Income. No, I'm not, don't quote me on this, but a lot of people I know that are retired have income generating property. And that's going to be something that can be, especially if you do it while you're still working and you pay off the mortgage, then you're responsible for the taxes, basically. And depending where you are, if you have like this one price house, even if you just pay the taxes, you use it as a vacation home, that's one thing. If a child wants to go to school or work there, that's another thing. But if you can rent it as a home for someone to live in, that will pay the taxes. I mean, especially if you have the deed and you paid it in full. So I'm going to go ahead and do the book review so I can get back to my assignment. I have a lot of stuff that I need to do. And I know that when I was doing the midwifery program, I had felt really overwhelmed because of my time and the lack of time that I was having being able to do what I needed to do for me and my kids. And it got to the point where I would start to get on a roll. I would have to like almost like bust into my own life. It's like my life had been buried in a vault somewhere with no key. And it's like I had to bust in my life to say, I'm just spending 3 hours today doing this really important thing for my business, like billing or something. And I would get started on stuff and not get done. And then I felt like it ended up Friday night at 5. And I go, oh, shoot, I had a phone call to make from last Friday or the Friday before. And you realize no one's going to be open until Monday. And a lot of times Monday morning is when a bazillion other people calling you can't even get through. And just so happens, then they call you back while you're at a doctor's appointment or something. So that's an excuse. All of that is excuse. And then I realized going back, finally getting the answer to the question, if I write a sticky note about it, which I can review, post-it notes, I would get to this place where, I don't know how to say it. I forgot I got chocolate on my nose, so excuse me. I was like, maybe I should look in a mirror. Where I felt like I'd have to restart and go back over my work. And at first, I was using a very, very broken computer that would take me, say you need to go on, fill out an application for your job, like not even like a job application, but like a form that you need for billing or something like that for your patient, client, some order form that you need to order a product that somebody's waiting for that you're out of stock. And it takes you 7 days to get your computer to work because your computer's broken. And it is really inefficient, and you see everybody else around you moving forward with their lives and enjoying it and having enough money to go on vacation around the world, and you don't even have money to pay your phone bill, let alone every other bill. So I'm also going to do a review of this purse. The tag on here was TJ Maxx. This purse is in a lot worse shape than if someone else had it because I've been carrying it inside of a bag because a couple of these came off because where's my bag? If I have it in a bag with some other stuff, like say a bottle of water, it's pushing stuff up and it's getting stuff. But just to look at it from far away, it looks cool. The handle, this is from like Stay Style, so it was only a couple bucks. I needed a purse. I was a little nervous about the chain. So basically I should be going like, oh, I'm going to this event and I'm going to use this purse. And then a few months later, a few years later, oh, I'm going to grab that cute purse. It's not, I don't know if it's supposed to be used every day. My purse broke and I got tired of, so it's New York company, New York and Company. Well, I didn't see that. It has one of the things so you could zip it all the way. Ah, you learned something new. So it has like a tab tucked under so that you could actually have a tab. Probably pull it up on top. We'll let that be for now. It was at a state sale, so it's probably kind of old. This was a little bit brown, and it still had the tags on it, which I may or may not have based on. Sometimes it has to do with whether I had the recycling that day. I wanted to display, this shirt is not really like, I changed because I spilled oil. The spoon hit me right here with oil on it, and I'm soaking that. This is like a kid's shirt. A kid gave it to my daughter. I'm not wearing this because I'm like, oh, this is cute. Like, it makes me look pregnant. So also this outfit makes me look pregnant. This is a one size fits all. I feel stupid like standing like this. It's going to be really bouncy because this is a bad, I'm standing on a mattress. This is from India. It was from Amazon. And I will post, oh yeah, it dingles, like dingles. It's not really dingle. It jingles, and this is my style. This is like my everyday style, but there's dress codes, and I change when I, wow, that was really loud. I change when I go out, and then, but like, I'm at home, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, and I'm just like, kind of like in pajama mode, so I was wearing all black to this one job. That's the dress code. Let me see what that noise was, and I will get back to that. No one else is on, so shoot. I'm gonna shut my blinds because my window because my neighbor's smoking right outside my window, and I don't want it. It will probably come in. So the book review is going to be. I will let you know while I'm talking about it. Since I'm not going to show it, I will post a link of where they are on Amazon so you can see it. Some of these I'm not able to sell because I got ripped off when I bought them. Someone from Asia sold them from Singapore or somewhere, or India, and they weren't supposed to sell them in North America. And that is what happened with book one, Case Files Physiology. I just got it prepped for pictures, and I went to find the ISBN. Long story short, it didn't match up. There's two in here. There's the 10 and the 13, but there's times two. The North American version and the sold outside of North America. It is not to be re-exported to the U.S. or any North American country. The people who did that is A to Z Books from Damascus, A to Z-sy.com. So I'm pretty mad at them because they broke the Amazon rules. And I'm finding that an article today, I was so tired, I thought it said Arizona had counterfeiting. I was like, oh my God, I got to be careful because I'm a business person, and sometimes it's only a month, $1 or $2. It's like, if that's a counterfeit dollar, oh my God, I'm really going to be in trouble, you know. Let me tell you the authors. Case Files Physiology, 2nd edition, and this is Lang McGraw-Hill. Authors Toy, Weisbrot, Dubinsky, O'Neill, Walters, and Harms. This 51 cases for USMLE. I believe step 1. I'm not sure if it says, but it's not endorsed by USMLE. This is from 2006, so it's actually printed in 2009 as an international copy. I can't resell it. It's just, you know, even at eBay, I was like, I just want to clean my house. I love this book. I got it ready for pictures, and I went ahead and took all the sticky notes out of the flat. You know, there's probably flashcards in there and stuff. So that's done. It's getting kept. I was gonna give it away to somebody, just out of. I don't have friends that are doing their boards, or they're like, oh, we already got it covered. So I was like, well, I passed them. I know how to pass them. I use these books, but no one is interested in what I have. So I thought of giving a couple books to a friend, or like saying, here, give me $50. Here's a grocery bag of books and flashcards. But I'm not really talking to people like that. People aren't really interested. Or I've had the friends that say, oh yeah, I'm coming over to get that stuff, borrow or buy, and they don't show up. Some people are desperate. They were traveling around the world before their boards. They were desperate. They came over and bought something last year. That's about it. Um, and eBay's, I read something on eBay like 2-3 days ago that says, if you try to give something away for free that's illegal, you're going to be busted, basically. So I was like, I'm not even going to say, here, get this book. I'll throw that one in. No extra charge. Heck, I'll even pay the postage. But it's like, it is what it is. It's going back on my shelf. If I want to give it to someone, I will stick it in a free pile, or, I don't know, fly out to India and donate it to a library or something like that. I considered that as well. It's in the back of my mind. Don't get me wrong. This is a really good book. A friend, actually, who's from India, grew up in the States, but went back home and bought a bunch of books. This one's actually, she was in medical school, so some she went and got from India, which I have a few. She moved, and I don't know if she was flying or what, but she had like nothing. She couldn't have anything. So I have a shelf here from her and a few board books. I just took a handful, and we took the rest. I helped her walk them over to the library. That's a couple years ago for boards. One USM, not USM. What's the school that I went to? NPLEX 1 for naturopathic school. This is Wesley Volk, Essentials of Medical Microbiology. I will tell you the truth. As far as I know, I did not have time to read this for my board exam, and I didn't have it when I took micro. So at that point, micro was done, over. I wanted to do a review of my micro book, which was made by my teacher, and the teacher taught at NCNM and at OHSU. So I don't know if he used the same notes. I feel like probably not. I don't know though. You never know, because I think, I haven't been a professor in a college. I feel like they will give you the curriculum and a lot of the stuff we learned. This is going to be on the boards. They need to know it. Like, or this is in the, this is what the country, or including Canada, US and Canada, says that naturopaths can do with their license, and what you can treat, and what, like, so then it becomes kind of also a skeleton of what's in your scope of practice, even if like someone never does microbiology, never does immunology, never does blood draws, or has a microscope, and you're not supposed to really use a microscope for diagnostic. You can use it as kind of you can use the clinical, as far as I know, I can double check this. We were told if you have a microscope in your office, you can use that as a clinical, you can use your clinical presentation as a diagnostic criteria. So someone has trichomonas, they had it before, their partner says they have it, they come in super painful, like a female. I'm not saying this as a cure or diagnosis, but just as an example. You can write that on the case or on the paper, and this, that, and this, that, this, that, or I mean in the charts, and you can go give them the medication, or you could, and don't quote me on this either, because I'm not managing meds since of this whole matching up my Medicaid with the primary care status that I need. I don't know if it is or not, because every time I call, they tell me, yeah, you're a primary care physician, high level doctor with us, and I'm like, really? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I want to get something. I see stuff online, I hear stuff on the phone, I hear other people saying, oh, I don't know, and then I want someone to send me the packet in the mail so I can like frame it or something and know what I can do. And there's some gray areas, but you want to cover yourself. So I don't prescribe antibiotics to people. They need to go at PCP. Some people don't have primary care physicians, so that's kind of another problem. So the thing is, we were taught, and like I said, you need to go to each state and each jurisdiction to just find out what the current rules are. You can look in the microscope after they leave. Oh, by the way, can you leave a UA on the way out? You could send them to the lab to get a UA to reconfirm your statement. And then you could say, okay, after I get these results, you can do that soon, then I'll give you the medicine, like if you're the primary care for that organism. Sometimes, I mean, it's different now, because it used to be Let me write that script out for you now, and then when we get the results, we'll go take it to your store. Then it got to be, I'm going to call the store and order it. Oh, they want to know, do you want to get that in 2 hours, tomorrow, today? And that was the thing. Now it's just like online in the computer. It's already there. It shows up on the computer. And they have the prescription waiting for them as soon as they get out of the car. And so this is all speculation because it's different in each state and every rule always changes. But you can use some things as an example. Having that history, maybe they had it before and their partner wasn't treated, this, that, and the other. You could prescribe. You don't want to overprescribe, though. That's the thing. So sometimes people will go back in their lab, look under a microscope, see trick. As a naturopath, I can't write that in my chart. Saw that on my, objective. But if I was a lab technologist, I could, even though we were trained in all that. So it can kind of say, like, if you don't see it at all, you would call and say, hey, based on your clinical presentation, it came to the conclusion that you were diagnosed with this STD, whatever. And my treatment plan is now that, and you can have them sit in the room and wait for you. My treatment plan now is to not prescribe a thing until we get those lab results back from an outside place. Even though you just did it in office while they're sitting there, very convenient, very fast. So all I know, I could be wrong, do blood smears. We did years of blood smears, and staining of slides and doing wet preps and, skin scrapings. Like, we did years of that in medical school. But as far as I know, and I did external stuff at the hospital just because I do extra studies, and, even for neonatal, it's like ferning when somebody is their water. Is that amniotic fluid, or is there just mucus, or what? So this is the Essential, did I say that? Essentials of Medical Microbiology, 2nd edition, Wesley Volk. And this is a Lippincott book. I thought there's another one that was a subsidy of, not subsidy. Okay, so this is originally 1978 and 1982. This one's okay. I really want to keep the book. It's one of those things I promised myself, just keep studying after graduation. Besides the fact it's really distracting and fun, I love to learn. I love to redo my learning and refresh and then see what's new. I don't like to stay stagnant in it. It's really time consuming. And I found a lot of people that they're just like, pass the test, throw out the notes. Pass the test, get rid of the book. Oh, wait, we never bought the book. All right, whatever. Let's go to the bar. Like, that's the most of the people I know. There was some foreigners that I knew from my old job, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to go home and study these books. And we'd bring textbooks to work and stuff, and during downtime, we'd be researching all of these microorganisms, immunology, and all the blood patterns, and learning how, relearning or learning for the first time. Some people that are technologists were learning stuff in depth. Yeah, you learn this in depth. I learned this, and I learned homeopathy, and I learned botany, and I learned, naturopathic meditation therapy, and I learned anatomy, and I learned physiology, and I learned organ system, and I learned cardiology, and it's like, this person was focused on this little piece of the pie, and it's you just keep digging, and it's more and more and more information, and they work in a hospital, a busy place, out of the country, in Asia, Eastern Asia, where so there's hundreds of people waiting in line outside the hospital to get in. So you see these people draw their blood, they get out, like, you hardly, like, no, okay, sit down for minutes, let's check you in, let's do this, okay. 40 minutes later, and it's like, yeah, they got in trouble. We got in trouble for that. A little bit too long, but it's like, bring them in, bring them out. There's an overpopulation. This is a physiology coloring book. I would love to show you the pictures because I colored it. I only covered like 5 or 6 pages. 2nd edition again. This is Capit, Macy, and Masami. The cover has the electrocardiogram example, and they had the guy coloring it in. This one was damaged when I got it, so it was $15 in 2009. It's a shame that I didn't color it more, but there's a lot of flags. Go ahead and check this one out for you. At the time here. Like this, there's a lot of flags like that, in the book. So I know I read it. This definitely was not part of the requirements for med school. So I will tell you the truth. And now that I know that one's damaged and colored on, and who knows what else. I mean, I'd be lucky to get $2 for that. I would love to start, like, try to sell it for like $7.50 or something, because I shipped a couple items. That's just all I sold was a couple items in my life online. The shipping that was charged to the customer didn't match what I shipped. Plus, I added $1.70 for postage, insurance, and then I got more postage charges from eBay after the item had been shipped, and I don't understand where that came from. Besides the PayPal fees, besides the extra eBay fees, I'm so sad. So I went above and beyond, packaged it up in brand new material, put insurance on stuff, on a couple of shirts that weren't worth much, and then I ended up. So I'm really afraid. I haven't sent any books out. This one, besides the I keep carrying around, which again I won't show you, Clinical Microbiology Made Ridiculously Simple, edition 4. This is by Mark Gladwin, MD, and Bill Troutler, MD, and the dates go on and on and on and on, but the last one here is 2009 for copyright, although the 23rd printing is 2010. This is a really good book. I don't know if you're familiar with the Made Ridiculously Simple trademark. I think in the shelf back there I have some. I actually wanted to move that shelf. I need to do something. I need to figure out something. This has a lot. I really like so like the picture, yeah, obviously makes me laugh. I really like microbiology, and we had notes that, the teacher made, and then for the boards I had the Anderson notes, which I can do a review on later. I don't know what this man is up to as far as teaching. I remember this one, and it was between the I'm just looking at the picture. I'm like a really visual person, so I'm like staring at a picture worth 1,000 words. The botulism, so the babies like that, and then they have beans. So here's you got botulism, or because it's like I always put botulism and tetanus together. He's on a ventilator. I'm just like, let me turn off this video so I can read the book. Intubation and support, floppy baby. Adult intubation relations. I would love to read the book. The thing is, I'm not sure. I had accidentally forgot to turn the recorder on. My idea was to have an office, to own a home with an office, or to have an office space that had a treatment room separate from the office, which is also something the state doesn't like, even though you're on a cloud on the computer. So you don't need to keep anything confidential in the office. And if there's anything, you're saving medicines for somebody, something like that, you can always. Well, mine stuff is like, it's mostly just like some change in case someone pays for cash, but it's locked in a file cabinet, and that's locked. Inside of that is another lock container, and then I have an additional lock container that's empty. So if I come in, because I don't have a standing container right now with a lock on it, which I would love to have a couple, like a standing file cabinet and a, because I have to, right now I didn't scan in all original patient papers, which I need to do, which will make me more cloud ready. Because when you do your billing and stuff, you need to have the date signature on file and all that stuff. But I would love to have a locking, fireproof file cabinet. Lots of people have them for sale, even cheap. They're getting rid of them. They're moving out of the country. Cheap? All right, that still costs money. And then shipping, freight, delivery, charge, moving guys, moving women, whoever, that's going to double your price. I don't know how much the shipping, but it becomes a priority. Like, keep the office, keep the license, pay all those fees. Do you have anything left over? Of course not. Hopefully one day I will. It would be a lot better, and if the place burned down, I would feel a lot better to know that it was in this container, which may or may not work depending on how you have to close those things. And then also having a cabinet where I can put some cleaning supplies, personal items like purse and coat, maybe extra change of clothes and shoes. You never know what happens. Put the white coat and stuff in there. Also keep the dust free. You have the heat vent in the ceiling, and you have the dust coming in. You have the guy, the vacuum cleaner, whatever. It would be awesome. I almost got a $20 one at Walmart, but it This Rubbermaid. Then they went out to 40. I saw one left. I'm not lifting stuff, especially at that time because of auto accident. I was going to get my daughter after work one day and go have her lift it and have the guy help and have the kids bring it in somewhere in the office, I guess. And it was a little one too. It wasn't even that big, but I didn't want to try to lift it even though it was plastic. And then the price went up and they were out of stock, and I was like, forget it. And I wanted a lock, even if you had a little plastic hole. So this is Rapid Review Pathology, second edition. So this is also a lot of second editions in the stack. This one they do say recommended shelving, USMLE Step 1 Review, Rapid Review. There's a lot of different items. People have sets of these on Amazon that I've noticed. Again, this is one. So half of these books I bought, and half of them, a couple of them people gave to me because they were moving and they had to get rid of stuff fast. I was taking the board exam, so I went ahead and grabbed this. So when I took the board exam, there wasn't time to say, gee, let me read over these books for a year and study my notes and study the blueprint with the notes filled in and take the classes and take the biochem review. I didn't really have time for that. But sometimes it's just like you're tired of plowing through the same type of notes. You can go in and look, like here's Verruca vulgaris, common wort. You can go through and look at some stuff and just, before bed or something. And that's not necessarily the bulk of my study. And these became that kind of, this is a color book, by the way. Oh, this is self-study post-graduation, where you can dig deeper and refresh yourself on the subject matter, because for the basic science, for naturopaths and allopaths and osteopaths, I feel there's a lot of, like, the books that I have here is not specific for naturopathy. Now, for herbs and homeopathy, I would have a separate stack of books, which also I thought that they are kind of like gold, some of these books. There's herb books and stuff everywhere, and everything's on the internet, but there's something about some of the books I have or were recommended by teachers, or actually the ones recommended I couldn't get because they were too wordy. I had to get shiny, glossy. This is Mosby imprint of Elsevier. Did I tell you the year of this one? I don't remember telling the year. And this one, I mean, this is second edition. It's 2007. This is a little bit old. This one is a keeper for me because it says India on it. So it's New Delhi. So this one would be, friend had brought this back from the old country or bought it over there. So let me separate these. I can't show you really, but the coloring book is pretty raggedy. I mean, I bought it raggedy, I'll tell you the truth, and I never thinking of reselling. Some of the books were kind of expensive, and I said, I tried to write in pencil, think I'll just put sticky notes in there. It got to the point, like, dude, you got to get this in the brain. You got to start highlighting, color coding, writing in it, using colored markers. I said, the price of this book is nothing compared to $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 class that you're taking over the course of 12 weeks. You have anatomy, or not anatomy, they changed organ systems. It went from a 4 or 5 credit class per term to like 7.5 credit class, and I don't, something ridiculous. Like, it just kept going up and up, like 5, 6 credit class. Imagine, I don't know, $300, $400, $500 a credit hour times that. It's like, and besides the fact you're in that same class hours a week, you want to pass. It's a lot of information for your final. So I said that this book might have cost $80 or $200, but the class cost $6,000, and you could use that same $200, $180 book for 3 terms, which is like 15. Oh my gosh, it makes me. It's like 15,000. Let's say it's a 3,000, 9,000. The whole series. $9,000 or $10,000 for just one class called organ systems. Like, they had mixed histology with that too. From first, they might have separated them back out again, but they just kept adding more I think they completely changed it. But this one keeps getting thrown around. Not thrown around, but taken from the house to the car. I really got to wrap this in an envelope. It's also a Salvier. This is the Field's 4th edition Anatomy, Palpation, and Surface Markings. This one was a mistake. The school had written that it was a required book, and I ordered it. And when we got to class, they had written it wrong. So they had told us there was 2 books that were required. I want to save a couple bucks, got them from Amazon, first year med school, and when I found out it was the wrong book, the other one's the right book, it's in my office. I didn't really feel like packaging up and sending it back, or trying to relist it or whatever. So this one is 2006. This one has, massage therapist, physical therapy. It's got a lot of color pictures of the human body, so pretty much every portion of, extremities, back, front, head, and then I don't think it has sensitive areas. And then it has little matching. It has a lot of questions, and then it has. They want you to label this. So it's kind of like a quiz yourself. And then it has all the muscles. The book that I use in class, which we brought to class every week, it has the organs, the insertions, the nerves, and it does have the picture, but they're not. These are photographs. It has a color picture of muscles and then some of the bone. So one of my friends towards the end was like, "Oh, you should use this. Where's your musculoskeletal or where's your palpation textbook? Because you can use that musculoskeletal anatomy." I was like, "Oh, duh, I didn't even think of that." And I do have, which also won't. I don't think I'm going to sell that one. One of my kids wants anatomy books, and another kid's reading physics, and then I have biology books. Who knows where they came from? A lot of them people gave away. I think it's one of those things. If you have the book, say I took biology today, and I finished the course tomorrow, because it's July. Say I just finished the exam, got the grades, passed the test. Say I bought the book in the spring, or no, I got it backwards. In the fall, and now it's it's the beginning of summer. Next year or the year after is highly likely. This is my opinion. It's highly likely that I'm going to need to. Or not me, but the new students are going to need a new edition of the book. Some teachers say you absolutely need, for this class, you're going to need a new edition. I'm going to put the page numbers in there. You're going to have to find the page numbers. Some teachers, they'll do the page numbers from the old syllabus, and they'll redo the syllabus if there's changes, and they might give you access to both. Some of them will say, and this is my opinion based on personal experience, some will say, I prefer you get the 5th edition. However, anything third and beyond, 3rd or 4th or 5th is okay. But I prefer you get this one. But some of you may find a good deal on. Sometimes it's just we absolutely, like I said, don't want you to get 3rd or 4th. We want you to get the 5th. You're going to be tested this way, and so I had done some stuff where I bought the old books. To tell you the truth, I had to retake one of the class I did that with. Page numbers don't match. You're trying to study for a quiz. It's this page to this page. You try to see if you can match up the pages by the subject matter. And who knows if the guy switched chapter 17 with chapter 3. You could be totally reading about conifers, and he could be talking about pig hearts, and you take the quiz and you're like, so that is where you have to talk to your teacher. The thing is also you're going to look, I don't know what you're going to do. Things changed as I've been in school from the 90s on. You might be able to access your syllabus. Now, there's a couple things that happened when I've done that in the past. Accessing the syllabus and realizing your teacher's overseas in Spain on a cruise or something. And, we had a student support uploading syllabi, opening up locked pages that we can't see. It's like, oh, I registered for class. Great. We had to wait for the stuff to come on. Sometimes the teachers, real, live, click. It's still set up from last year. They may have already done the syllabus, put a new date on it. Some teachers, you have their syllabus 2004, dude, 2016, what's up? But you're like, you know what? The information's the same. They probably added some more stories. They probably changed the notes here and there, but they didn't change the date on their syllabus, so whatever. And usually, so hopefully they actually, teachers that do that, I noticed, They don't put the dates of week 1. They just say week 1, week 2, week 3, exam, week 4, or week 5, week 6, week 7, exam. If they really want to do, they'll be like July 7th, week 1. Like, they will put the date. And that's their preference. That's their choice, not a requirement. And I think sometimes it depends. You can go through your own calendar, which most people don't have a paper one, and you can say week 1, week 2, or 3, and you can write in your little syllabus or do it on your computer what the date is, so you know when to study for your quizzes or when to not go on vacation doing your quizzes. All the people do that anyway. So that's just my opinion. It's nothing set in stone. Things change so fast in education that, you know, I've gone through several things, several time periods in life just like rapidly changing. Your syllabus can come on and say you need this book, and this book, and then you get on the computer and all the books are out of print. And then you show up at class. So the thing is, instead of buying a bookstore, our bookstore shut down at my old school. Stuff is like notes the teachers post. Sometimes it's a note packet. They used to have notes packets where students have to purchase this thing for $20, $50. That's in a binder that they put together themselves. And then, or I don't know, whatever other way. I mean, it's not like how it was when I was younger. It's like they put it up on a chalkboard or something. You have to write it down on your paper, and you better keep track of your notebook, and you read your textbook. That's how it was when I first started. There was notes and stuff, I believe. I don't remember many notes back then. I remember me taking notes and having a textbook. That's what I remember. I didn't know how to study. I remember that. After I learned how to study, I realized, how did I get a bachelor degree without knowing that I actually had to study? I remember studying twice. That's pretty crazy. Like, I didn't know that you're supposed to sit there and review your notes and pre-read stuff, and like people say I'm kind of stupid, but I'm like, dude, I passed my whole undergrad and I paid attention. I went to every class, I took notes. Now, I'm not going to say that I just sat at home and guessed and that I really didn't know it. It's just that I like absorbed it enough to pass, and it's not I was an honor student. If I had studied, I probably would have gotten really good grades. Like, if I had sit down and learned how to do what I did for medical school. In medical school, the problem is I learned how to study, but your time is little. And I also have 2 kids. So the other thing is the syllabus. You show up at class. Oh my gosh, there's 3 on Amazon. They don't have it in the bookstore. There is no bookstore. You get to school, and you're trying. You know, those classes when I was at Portland State. It's pretty much like you want to go to school the first day with a book. So I'd go buy the book, shrink wrap somehow, and take it in to class and not open it. I would have loved to open it and read it in advance after having the syllabus in advance. That's cool. They give you financial aid a week or 2 early, so you could purchase your books from Amazon, from some bookstore, get something from a friend, whatever. Get it from the library if you want to check it out first and review it before you purchase something. And that school, and those shrink wrap books, they wouldn't accept them back if you opened a shrink wrap. And I don't like that, because you could show up in class and say, oh, by the way, there's a mistake in the syllabus, and you don't need that book. That's for a different biology class. That's for such and such type of student, or for mechanical engineers. I don't know, whether it's like a different class. Like the OChem, there's a different class for my physics book or the other physics with calculus. It's a different book than the one I took. I would have loved to be able to go through the book and read it. I mean, are they thinking I'm just going to photocopy this entire thing, this 1,000 and something pages? I mean, I guess people PDF stuff like that, and I was like, no, thank you, I don't want to spend that much time. And then they'll return a book or something. I don't know if people mess it up. But I felt I would have done a lot better if I would have just started reading the book. As soon as I knew that was the book, open it up. But I'd always bring that shrink wrap book to class and make sure that they wanted us to have it. Anymore, most people that I knew did not get the book. They absolutely did not get the book. They didn't need the book because the teacher's notes was all they needed. What else? I guess, study manuals or like lab books you need for lab, like OChem. You pretty much need that kind of stuff. Usually my school at Portland State, I have some of these books. They publish their own books. And they have the teacher's name and stuff as the author and all this, and the grad student, whoever did it. Yeah, this was supposed to be a really short video. It's time to go. I can't think of anything else about books besides I think a lot of books are available online for free. People can download books. They have tablets and stuff, and I've seen people like to sit there in class with an iPad. I've seen people do it with a Kindle, and they sit there with the book they downloaded, and the teacher's like, go to page 18, and they're just like, ch-ch-ch. And I'm like, oh my god, I would love to be able to do that. Like, I would love to be able to have this little thing and just stick it in my purse, and that's what I have. I've got my keys, my driver's license, and that. Like, I would love to do that. I am a paper person. I like to write, but still, friends would have the little pens. They'd write on their stuff, so they'd have their notes in their iPod and their iPad, and they'd have the book, and they'd have the downloaded notes from the teacher that they can write on, type on. And it would still work a lot of times, sometimes, maybe not, without Wi-Fi, which most of the time you have Wi-Fi or 4G, even better. And I always have this fear that the internet's going to crash, and then I'm going to get rid of these books, and I'm not going to be able to restudy my material. But I promised myself a couple years ago that I can't carry stuff like this around. No one else can. Everyone else had the tablets and stuff, but I said, you know what, you carry it here. Just carry it here. That's not saying that I don't need to review and refresh. We have to do that anyway for our CE credits, 50 hours a year minimum. But what you're not going to get, in my opinion, from this stack of paper here, very expensive paper, mind you, yeah, which are not yours, you're not necessarily going to get the updates. Now, I have a USMLE book, Step 1 book. And like I said, some of these books are not endorsed by them. That was their trademark. So I'm saying that because I had naturopathic boards, so I did use similar material. I have the errata online. I have different things. I mean, for the books, the study guide, but picking up this case file book on physiology and reading about cases like DM or you can review that, and the medication doesn't mean that it's accurate. It doesn't mean there's not a typo. It doesn't mean that the recommendations haven't changed. You can go to the library, go to UpToDate and see these peer-reviewed articles, and you can see like, oh, it's July such and such. Oh, they just updated this, or they just reviewed it to make sure it's still current. So I think that's a really awesome way, to get on your computer and utilize it. And it's like, oh my gosh, am I old-fashioned? Me and my kids were going through, I was going to the dictionary, they were looking up online. I didn't find the word in the dictionary, they found it faster than me. Even if it wasn't in the dictionary, it was unclear because it was short, because you can only put so much in this little thing. And my kids are like, well, we still want books, we like books, because they grew up with the books in the house like that. And some really old books, some of my old books, family things. Just that matter of, I'm sick of my video game and this, and this. I'm going to open up a physical, because I did the same thing. I was like, oh, look at this medical book. Look at this nursing book. Look at this encyclopedia. Oh my gosh, A through Z in this thick dictionary. All right, let's start on page 1. That's how I grew up. And people think I'm stupid because you stuff too much in your brain. It takes a minute to get it back out because you're like, and if you go off on a tangent about, how they got rid of watermelon seeds and watermelon and this and this and this, the people you're talking to, they're on the surface of the conversation. They don't want to talk about a lot of in-depth information. And you couldn't sit down with your kids and talk about it. And you try to call your cousin on the phone and be like, oh my god, I had this great conversation today about, this pathway of turning watermelons from seeded to seedless, and they're gonna be like, oh, it's like, oh, okay. So then, besides when you have conversations, and then I've gotten yelled at by people in the old church because I was talking about light. I've been yelled at about light bulbs a lot. I'm really fascinated. I have part of my degree in environmental sciences and stuff, and I really like electricity, learning about efficiency and all this stuff, and then the dangers of the mercury. I love that stuff just for fun, I don't work that job. I'm not an engineer. I'm not an environmentalist. I would love to have part of my business be part of that, or some kind of consulting, and even for medicine, health, and doing testing and being able to read results. I've given a lot of treatment plans on removing toxins from your home, but I don't have the patient base in advertising to let people know that it's not like, oh yeah, come in my clinic, and then once you're in my office, I'm going to run into the bathroom and get on my iPhone and type up stuff to make myself sound smart. Like, that's not the type of person I am. I like to put it up here, but it takes a minute to pull it out. And then I scratch the surface, kind of an actor. I watered down what I know really a lot. I used to water down soda. I don't know anyone else who did that. I would get some soda, a little bit in a cup, and I put some ice in it, and I'd sip on it a little bit, and then I'd put water in it, and then I'd put more water in it, and then I'd have like this, like, I love that mild taste for something. Like, I water, and imagine the kid next to me saying, oh, let me get a little cup of Pepsi with some ice and a straw, and they're outside playing in the yard, or they're watching TV or something. And an hour later, I'm still adding water to this and like drinking it slowly. So I like water stuff down. I do something different than the norm, and I'm fascinated with keeping myself busy. I'm fascinated. Oh, gee, I'm fascinated, and people don't like that. And I get a lot of opinions about how people feel about my style, but I feel like God is like, you're different, you're different, you're different. Like, do we all have identical hairstyles, jewelry choices, clothing? Like, I didn't really choose this clothing. Some kid gave it to my kid, and I got it out of her giveaway pile. Skirt, okay, I picked it, but because it was really cheap from India. But it was like, if I can get something for $6 or under, new is cheaper than going to Goodwill. Let's just say that. You can get stuff cheaper at Goodwill. Let me tell you that. But I see most things that are not. So people tell me that they don't like the way I think. They tell me they don't like me talking about in-depthly about things that like my secret, which is out, and it has been over 46 minutes. One of my secrets is studying nuclear physics for fun. I took statistics twice for fun. People wanted to break my neck in that class. They hated it. They had to have it for their degree. It was a recommended class for medical school so that you can understand like research and statistics and all that. And I really, the p-value and all the way that our teachers try to explain it, like send me back to stats class and let me get the big what's going on. Like, it was hard for someone to take a little bit of something, try to explain it, and it just made me more confused. Like, take me back to the physics or the stats teacher. But nuclear fission, hydrogen, nuclear reactors. I love learning that. I haven't been doing too much of that because I've been busy with learning how to do life. When you're a student a long time, then you have to learn, oh my God, now there's life, and making things like a sink from scratch with electricity and water, which is even creepier than just connecting your pipes to another pipe without having to plug something into the wall that has water running through it that you're supposed to be using as a sink in your office because they won't let you put 3 holes in the wall, or the fact that you can't afford an office that already has holes in the wall. So with that, I will end. I tell you it's my secret because people, I'm looking for scissors. I have physio tape on, so scissors in hand. People don't like me talking about combustion engines. People don't like me talking about, different internal combustion engines. They don't like me talking about exactly what can and can't go in a recycling container. They don't care about, these Hanford and other super fun sites. Like, I don't know what normal people do for fun, because that's what I do for fun. And then I say, I have no fun. Come on. I study, and then I learn how to do life on my terms through prayer and meditation. That's probably one of my hardest things. But it's time to go. Other item that I'll post, which I did a review on, but I was not able to use the review. Well, again, we became too long. That 5-minute video thing when it was 7th generation wipes. I do wear gloves with them personally. One of my children don't have a problem with that. It causes the skin to come off my hands. I don't know if I used the product before, but I've noticed my fingernails get caught on it, and somehow it was causing the middle of my fingernail to break. It happened several times since I started using them, at least twice, I should say, and most of the time using gloves. So I don't know if it's that product. Personally, it's a really strong product, 99.99% of germs, microorganisms, including, I believe, H1N1, and I will try to let you read about that because I'm not even going to show their label. I had showed the end of the container, which is green. I had gotten mine from Vitacost.com, which was the 70-pack. Local store has the 40 or 35 pack. I don't know if it's 35 or 40. And I recommend making sure that the lid is shut all the way. Or some of the other name brand companies, they've had many years to perfect their containers, and these containers seem almost more expensive than the actual product inside as far as the paper and the stuff they pour in there. I felt that these stayed pretty wet even if I accidentally left the container. You can definitely tell a difference if you see the top cracked and you're like, shoot, I cleaned something. Sometimes you clean something, shut it, but you know you're going to be done for the day. You really make sure that you shut it and probably store it up right. It seems sometimes it's going to be really wet. You don't want it to actually leak because I don't know. It depends maybe the batch or how your own humidity in your house is. So I will place that one too because I didn't use these for a while. I used their other products. I hadn't used these at all until recently, and actually was using baby wipes, which I believe 7th generation also in the green. I was using their baby wipes, keeping the car because I had my kids wash their hands for a snack in the car because we always had to commute across the river. Those would get dry a lot in the car. The tops fall off and stuff like that. So that was nice. They didn't bother my hands, and I could wipe down the car, wipe my hands, and wipe down the steering wheel, dust off everything. And I really like that. But I will wear rubber gloves, and hopefully it's not the rubber glove material, the soft velvety stuff inside that's causing this. But that's me, so I just want to say maybe it is pretty strong with essential oils. It does have sodium lauryl sulfate. I'm not sure where it's derived from. You can check that out yourself. But I recommend looking at product labels and reading about the company because something you use a long time may be like, I don't have any problems with this, and this is the one product I had problems with, but I got a subscription and I canceled the subscription because of money. It's time for me to go. It's just one of those things where I don't put my ringer back on, where you want to kind of be careful if you're used to a product. And this one is pretty strong, you know. Sometimes people say, "Oh, don't use South Carolina. That's just a essential oil. It's gonna stink, or it's gonna make it smell like we need to use the bleach one or this one." But now it's like people know more. People do is multi-level marketing with essential oils, and like people know that there's different things that can help. And I'm not endorsing that portion of it. So you look it up yourself to see what studies they did, how long you keep it on a surface, how you test it on the surface to make sure you don't damage it or wood. Like this piece of wood is really old. It's peeling actually. It should be restored. It looks like it was left outside on a porch or something. It's not that bad, but the finish is definitely gone. So I'd wipe this surface, but the Murphy's oil soap, I used it once because Sophia made a great challenge. They said don't use it on unfinished surface. Be really careful about that. I really wanted to use it, thinking it would restore because it's oil. I didn't use it on that, but I did use these wipes, and I have used them in the shower. And tell you the truth, 7th generation surface cleaner. I'll put the one that I have. I actually sprayed our shower because it's fiberglass and absorbs the dirt, especially from the city water, like the different, it's like dark stuff. I've had drips in sinks, and you have this black circle, and there's nothing causing that. Like it's not from dirty hands. That's like where the thing is dripping is where it turns black. I don't know, some of the residue that's coming in, hard water and stuff collecting. So I actually sprayed it with one product, and then I came back with the rubber gloves and wiped it down for inspection because the fiberglass seems to absorb way too much of everything. Like if you're putting on something in your hair and that breeze and it gets stuck in the tub, it's really hard to wash. We used to have tiles in the old place in a porcelain tub, and I felt you could really, really get that sparkling clean. Use some baking soda. But now I'm not gonna lie, and we have that anti-slip tub bottom fiberglass. It's like here's a brush, like rub, 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 and I've not been able, like I'm not using harsh chemicals and cleaners and stuff that I used when I was a kid. And I know why people use that stuff because of that. I haven't had the elbow grease, so I'll let you guys know. Bye.